Good morning, beautiful people of YouTube. Welcome back to another new video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Derek, and I have built this channel off of all different styles and kinds of adventuring. Today's video is going to be paddleboarding and kayaking with a friend on Carter's Lake here in the mountains of North Georgia. If you're unfamiliar with Carter's Lake is the deepest lake in the state of Georgia. Averages 200 feet deep. Deepest points can be up around 400 feet. So extremely deep. Carter's Lake Dam is pretty giant. The regulation reservoir is fairly big. Another interesting thing about Carter's is it is the entire area of Carter's is a WMA / forestry area, so no development is allowed to be on the banks of Carter's. So there's no houses, there's no docks. So the entire shoreline of the whole lake is just gives you a pretty remote feeling, even though you're not really that remote. So it's a really interesting lake. It holds all the popular species: largemouth, smallmouth, crappie, sunfish, striper, spotted, may even be some lake trout in there, catfish, all the normal. And so today we're gonna go and we're going to do some exploring. There's some boat-in campsites there that I want to check out for maybe a camping trip in the fall, and then we're gonna be doing a little bit of fishing. Just a warning though, don't be expecting to see me catch very many fish, because I am by no means a bass fisherman. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to bass fishing. I just enjoy it. So waiting for my buddy Josh to get here. When he gets here, we will head over to the lake and I will catch up with you guys then. It's just cut off from the main road. There's it's not an island, but it's kind of like a peninsula, but there's just no access to it for a while. From what I can tell by looking at the map, there's only 1 or 2 little islands on this entire lake, and they're on the north end. See, I would versus paddle on this open water like this, I like to go up in the channel or up in the coves and check out the coves and see what kind of feeder creeks and stuff are up in there. I found a couple cool waterfalls that way, but to do anything on this side of the lake is such a long paddle over open water that it's not even worth it, honestly, unless you're gonna camp. Does your dad still paint cars? Yeah.
Until he gets his grading up.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, if he could do that, he's gonna make bank. Because those guys that run those tractors make $200 or $300 an hour sometimes. He wants to do what?
Forestry mulching.
Oh, yeah. Now that.
Yeah, me and my dad were talking about it. He said back in the day, crossbow was its own like season.
Yeah. So
Same thing now. He's like, it really is like back in the day, the only people that use crossbow were like, now it's like bow season. You have like your, you have your guy that's either like a purist, like he's I've made this longbow.
yeah.
You have a crossbow guy with fucking thermal sight.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, is when crossbows first came out, and you had to actually have a handicap permit to get one. So my grandfather was like one of the first people that I knew that had a crossbow because he had a handicap permit. This was like 93, 94, 95-ish. Somewhere around like probably 2008 or 2010, it started, they abolished the whole handicap thing and then made it so that anybody could hunt with a crossbow. So I don't understand the whole chasing the horsepower thing. Like I get if you buy like a 1290 KTM Adventure, it's got 200 horsepower. Yeah, you're buying it for the power. I get it. But like KLR or even smaller bikes, like there's no sense in that. Like in my opinion, riding the Bolt, when I was riding Zach's Bolt a lot, it has plenty enough power to get you down the road where you need to go at a decent speed, and that's all you need. Yeah. Even that Honda that I've got, that 600, now it don't have good pickup and it don't have good top end, but it's marginal and it's all I need. I would like a tack, but even more than a tack, I would like a fuel gauge. You have a fuel light, so once it yeah, yeah. You have a fuel light, but I don't even have a light. I don't have a gauge, I don't have a light, I don't have anything. You know how I check my gas? Pull the lid off and look.
Shit, when I rode the KLR, you know how I knew I need gas? I had to switch over to reserve.
So just thankfully enough, when I rode the KLR, I kept up with my mileage with my odometer. So I knew that at like 250 miles, I needed to stop and get gas. So that's carried over with the Honda. Every time I get gas, I reset the tripometer. And when I get up to 100 miles, I know I got to stop and get gas because at 120 miles, it runs out. I don't know. I bet it's deep as fuck though. I thought about looking into getting one of those portable fish finders. And well, I was thinking about one like you see the guys put on kayaks.
Oh, it's like a little transducer.
Yeah. But the problem is you still got to have a battery and all that to run it. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to put more weight on this thing to have a fish finder. It would be cool. But then I started looking at like the bobbers and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I just don't. I think the only really useful thing on it is the depth. I don't know how well it can actually charge it.
Yeah. It's concrete. wild how steep this bank is. Okay, so we finally made it back across the lake. Didn't really tell you guys what we were doing earlier, but we basically put in here at Carter's Dam and we paddled all the way across the open lake, around this bend and straight across to some paddle-in campsites. We wanted to go over and check them out. And just so happens the day that we picked to do it is the day that the wind is blowing the hardest. So going over wasn't really too bad. We kind of had a tailwind pushing us. We did drift a little. On the way back, we got pushed probably 1,000 yards back and then had to paddle even more. So overall, it took us about 4.5 hours or so to make the paddle over, hang out for a little bit, and then paddle back. So not a bad day of paddling. As far as the paddleboard goes, it's not really meant for open water paddling, but it got me there and back. So I never fell off and it handled the wakes pretty decently. So I will say that I will not be doing another open water paddle anytime soon. And we have started the unloading process. It's pretty late, 8 o'clock. Got home about an hour ago, hung out with Josh, chit-chatted for a little bit, talked about the day, talked about planning some more trips. Just wanted to go over what exactly we did today. So we were supposed to get on the water at like 9:30. We didn't end up getting on the water until like 11:30 or 12. We got a total of, it was about a total of 4 hours and 45 minutes from the time we left the bank, across the water, hung out at the camp areas, and come back. So on Carter's Lake, there's these boat-in only campsites. We boated into those to check them out. There was some people there setting up camp. So we walked around. There's 12 sites. Checked it out for maybe a future trip. But I decided on the drive back and after talking that that would really be an adult-only trip and somebody who is pretty physically fit, because paddling across the open water like that, even in the kayak, was a pretty tough challenge. I mean, we did it, but for like my kids, it'd probably be a little tough. So I think I decided that I'll reserve that for like a solo trip or a trip for maybe me and Josh, or me and Hunter, or somebody who's capable of doing the trip. Again, overall, the paddleboard performed really well as it could. We got pushed around a lot by the wind, which I expect, being in the open water like that. But I know everyone wants to know, how did the paddleboard go? How did it do in the open water? How does it do on the lake? And it does what it's supposed to do, and it does great. So we're just gonna finish unloading here, and then it's time for dinner, shower, and bed. Work tomorrow. I'll catch you guys on the next one.